This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
Hello, everybody. This is Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio, and my apologies because last week we did not have a show, and we had a guest that was going to come on, and it just didn't work out because I had no heat in my house last week. I'm in San Antonio, so needless to say, we had some very weird weather last week, but everything's good now. It was definitely an adventure and something I will probably have in a future book, but all is good and everybody's okay here. But to throw down a little history here, we've got I've lost track of the date. It is Thursday, the 25th, 2021. In 1964, Muhammad Ali becomes world heavyweight champion, and he was still using his name Cassius Clay at the time, but he was considered one of the greatest heavyweight boxers in history. And there's a great kids book, a middle grade book out called Becoming Muhammad Ali, and it's just a cool book. And the thing is that a lot of people talk about why should we have Black History Month, or Women's History Month, or those things. It's because a lot of times what's taught in schools isn't necessarily cover everybody who had a seat at the table regarding history. So it's super important to find those people that you may not have heard about in school, you may not have heard about in your typical classes, and find out more about them. So, and with that, you just keep reading, and you just keep learning new authors, and you just keep finding new people to learn about in their books. And one of those authors today is on our show, and her name is Stella Bixby, and I am super excited to talk to her because Stella and I have talked to each other, intermittently online because we're both a part of a couple of writers groups, but she reached out to me to be on the show, which I was super excited about. And Stella is a native Coloradan who loves to snowboard, pluck at the guitar, and play board games with her family. And she was once a volunteer firefighter and a park ranger, and now spends most of her time making up stories and trying to figure out what to cook for dinner. Believe me, I get this so much. Her newest release, Bungled, will be out March 30th, and you can pre-order it. There's a link in the write-up of the show. And if you want to keep in touch with Stella, you can check out her website, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Welcome to the show, Stella. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So you guys are you live in Iowa now, but you're from Colorado. So tell me about being a park ranger. I mean, how did you get into that?
So I lived in Colorado. I grew up in the Colorado Rocky Mountains. It was amazing. And I went to school for recreation management. Okay. And one day my mom just said, hey, I saw this job, and I think maybe you'd be interested in it, because I was a firefighter for a while. And I'm like, a park ranger? You think that I should try to be a park ranger? And she's like, I think you might like it. So
yeah,
I sent in the application, and they called me back and said, hey, yeah, come on in. Well, little did I know it wasn't a park ranger for like a forest park or like a mountainous park. It was a park ranger for city parks. And it was much different than I expected, but it was one of the best jobs I've ever had.
What made it a great job?
I think mostly the people that I worked with and the people I got to interact with every day. So I talked to hundreds, probably thousands of fishermen, throughout. I think I was a park ranger for, 4 years maybe. And the people there were so nice. The other park rangers were fantastic. They became some of my closest friends. And, the fishermen were just so excited to be out there fishing. And I got to be outside every single day. I got to drive boats and ATVs and basically spend my time talking to people about cool recreational activities.
Wow. I know we used to go, when we lived in New Mexico for a short period of time when I was a kid, and so we would drive. We were in Farmington, so, you're not that far at all from Colorado. And
right.
We'd go up there, and there's just so many fantastic parks, just to kind of find. You could drive anywhere on any road, and ta-da, there's one. But my aunt was there one year, and they'd taken an RV and they were fishing, and she was just catching a ton of rainbow trout. Like, it was crazy how much she was catching. And the ranger came by and said, "Hey, how's it going?" And she's like, "I don't know, I'm just catching all this fish." And he's like, "Really? What bait are you using?" She was using cheese. And he's like,
my.
"Oh, no. You can't use cheese. That's illegal." So she learned not to use cheese.
There are a lot. There's a lot of different rules, and it depends on where you are and what you're fishing for. And, man, some of the rules, it's like, wait, what? It's hard to know
of them. Yeah, so tell me some of the crazy rules.
Well, so a lot of them have to do with, what kind of bait you can use. But, we had 2 different reservoirs, and at one of them you could use power bait and worms and all of those types of things. But at the other one, you could only use, lures and things that were not bait. So people would be so confused because they would go from one to the other, and we'd be like, yeah, you can't use that here. Sorry.
What was the reason for that?
I think because it was more of they wanted to keep the fish in that reservoir primarily. It's more of a catch and release type place, and it's just so much easier to catch them with the power bait and all of that stuff. Sure.
So, yeah, my kids, I was fishing since I was 18 months. I mean, we actually have me with the cane pole standing there in the picture.
Aww.
And I love fishing. And I was teaching my kids, and it was so funny because my husband just didn't do that. He's great at fixing stuff. And so we figured between the two of us, when the zombie apocalypse hits, we're going to be okay, right?
Yes.
But I can go fishing, get his food, and he can fix stuff. But it's funny because the kids are like, "Dad, help me with this worm." He's like, "Yeah, I don't know how to." But I mean, he figured it out. But it was one of those things of But yeah, it's fun. It just teaches so much for kids, especially you have to be quiet and patient, and it's okay, that you catch everything one day and nothing the next. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a show called Stargate. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It was on for a decade, and one of the main characters in it always talked about wanting to go fishing in his pond that's behind his house, and in episode on, I think it was season 8, he's doing this presentation or something. They're recording something for their future selves or whatever. And he said, "And there's no fish in the pond in my backyard." He just sits there with his pole. And I'm like, wow, we did not know this till season 8. That is, thanks, Jack and Neil.
That's hilarious. No, I haven't seen it, but that sounds hilarious.
Yeah. Well, it's Richard Dean Anderson who plays him, and he's from, I think, Minnesota or something, so he loves all the outdoorsy stuff. So, they included it in his character. So a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
That's
and they
fun.
They filmed in Vancouver, I think. So plenty of outdoor stuff out there for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So you were a firefighter before you were a park ranger. So what got you being a firefighter? What was that trigger for that?
I think it was probably one of my boyfriends, to be honest. I was a volunteer firefighter up in the mountains, and it was just the thing that all of my friends decided to do. We all were going to join the fire department, and then it turned into kind of a competition of, who's the better firefighter, and it was really great. I didn't fight a lot of fires because there weren't a lot of fires, but I did a lot of training. So I did ice rescue training and hazmat training and just all of that kind of stuff. And so
did you do search and rescue as well?
I didn't do that. We actually had a whole team of search and rescue, so that was a whole different subsection. But I did wildland fire, so we would go in for those types of fires. Yeah. And
so you have, your character Riley in your stories is, it's set in book 1. She hadn't planned to she hadn't grown up wanting to be a park ranger. So, I mean, is that was that the obvious choice for you for a character, or did you do like, I don't know if I want to write about that, but then you said, I know a lot about this. How did that happen with developing that character?
Well, I was writing young adult dystopian fiction, and a friend of mine was like, you're really, and she's a very accomplished writer, but she was like, you're a very, you're good at this, but maybe you should write something that you know. And I'm like, what do I know? Because I am not good at building worlds. Like magic systems and things like that, like the whole world building, I need it to be like in today's world. And so I was like, well, what can I write? And she said, you were a firefighter and a park ranger. Write something about that. And I was like, oh, you're brilliant. So Riley is very loosely based off of me, but she is more outgoing and, all the things that if you could make yourself a certain way, you would do that. But she's also, more sassy and, I never came across a murder in my park ranger days, and a lot of that is very dramatized. So,
Sure. But
people
I'm sure you came across.
How much is real?
Yes. Well, but I'm sure you came across some very interesting situations.
Yes, and I do incorporate a lot of those into the book, just, along with the murder mysteries.
Right. So why a murder mystery? Why not? I mean, it is fun. It's like it's similar to the Janet Ivanovich series, and so if you're listening and you haven't read, Janet Ivanovich does this huge series. She's like on 24 or something books, but it's about a bounty hunter who's truly, truly awful at her job. But she has all these crazy scenarios, and so when you were deciding what kind of genre you were going to write for this, was mystery like, I'm absolutely going to write mystery, or was that something that just kind of developed as you started writing?
I think I knew I was going to write mystery because I love the Janet Ivanovich series. Like, that's been something that I've read since I was younger, and I just knew that I loved that genre, and I can never find other books that are similar to that. And so I thought, well, I guess I could write some. And since then, I found other books that are similar to that. But at the time, I just didn't. I was like, what else could I read? I want to read other things. And they say, well, read or write what you want to read. So that's what I did.
Yeah. And the covers are so cute. Do you design your own covers?
The first two in the series were by a designer, and then she got super booked up and couldn't complete the rest of the series. And so I failed to book her like way out like I was supposed to. And so I have continued that, the series cover. So books 3 through 7, there will be 7 books in this series. I will design those covers. Okay.
And so you've got your next book coming out the 30th. So this is the 6th book in the series. And so tell me a little bit about Riley. Here's your main character.
So Riley is, she's in her mid-20s. She is kind of down on her luck in the first book in Catfished. She just found out her boyfriend was cheating on her, and she got fired from her job, and she ended up having to move back in with her parents in their basement, as I think a lot of 20-plus-year-olds have to do. And so, kind of starting over and figuring that out. And so basically, she gets this job as a park ranger. She thinks it's going to be a temporary thing, and then, she really likes it. Of course, the people in it are super great. I love the characters. They're so awesome. And then she comes across a dead body, and it's like, oh. And then she kind of, like, enjoys the mystery, like the investigation. And so she kind of goes with it, with that, and then, So it's been interesting. And then there's a love story that goes through, of course. In the first book, her ex-boyfriend from high school is the lead detective on the case. And so they have to work together, and, there's all that tension. And then there's other guys, too, that kind of go in it. And by the 7th book, you'll know kind of how that all ends.
Okay.
I can't give away too much.
So for sure, right. Well, yeah, like Stephanie
Yeah.
Bond has the Body Movers, and so we're still, as of the last book I had read, which I think was 7 or 8, it was still up in the air about who she was going to stick with, and then of course Jana Ivanovich's books, and then Gemma Halliday actually does the High Heel Mysteries. And love hers as well. And it's all that kind of same genre that, I mean, there's obviously a very serious situation happening. I mean, there's a dead body.
Right.
But it's a beautiful balance that you've come up with of, yes, this is serious, but we don't have to go absolutely dark and be brooding the whole entire time, because people in those fields do have to laugh every once in a while, and they're not laughing at the dead bodies by any means, but I mean, it's that we don't stay in that mentality all the time when we're thinking about how to solve this. Right. And so it's that balance of I guess you could call it normalcy. To see, And so when your friends that have been that you were in as a firefighter at a park ranger, have they read your books?
They have. Well, I know a couple of them have, at least. I don't know all of them have, but a couple of them have.
And you've gotten good feedback?
Yeah, several of them liked it. One did not like it. He admittedly, he was like, this is not for me. But I worked primarily with men, and these books are very much geared toward women. So not that men don't enjoy them, but, if you're not a reader anyway of the genre, it's – plus he was probably thinking, how much of this is real?
Right.
Like, what is she giving away our secrets, which I am not. I can be on the record and say I am not.
Right.
None of that part is real, but yeah.
Well, and it's interesting too, because a lot of times people, I worked emergency room and critical care as a nurse, and I'd come home and talk to my mom because I had to do the whole move home and reorganize thing, and I would talk to my mom, and she's like, "You're making this up." And I'm like, "I'm really not." Because people are weird.
Yes, it's true. There's a lot of truth to people are weird. And I'm one of them. Like, some of the things that come up are part of my awkwardness, like my weirdness. So, yeah.
Well, and I think that would be obvious. The stuff that would be, why would you ever do that? It's just really... It's very interesting to see how people justify doing certain things. And then, of course, like, I'm sure you rescued a few people, like their boats didn't work, or, they were somewhere where they got lost or couldn't get out, or what have you. And, you start talking to them and they realize, that probably wasn't the best choice.
Yes. I think that probably came up with.
Yes. And I'm sure it was hard from, every once in a while to say, not to say, so, are you going to do this again? Just like
right.
Yes.
It definitely was. It was a challenge to be like, okay, especially the ones that did do it again, and you went out again, and you're like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you out here again?
Stop it.
You have to tell them, like, please, for both of our sakes, stop doing this.
Like, why? Why is this happening again? It was always very interesting to see situations people would get themselves in. And some truly, there's a bell curve in every society or every animal group, and you're going to have, the ones in the middle, and you're going to have the ones on each end. And but I seem to feel like the majority of the ones that got in those situations like we're talking about were probably in the middle. Not necessarily like on the far end each way, because they were either so absolutist about what they're doing that it either made total sense or it made no sense. So why would I do that?
Exactly. A lot of them were definite, like, honest mistakes. Most of them were honest mistakes. Things that you're like, oh, yeah. I mean, you might have been able to figure that out, but it would have been kind of hard. So
Right. Well, weather, I'm sure people don't really appreciate how quickly it can change, for sure.
Yeah, it changes very, very quickly, especially in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And the wind, it's amazing how the wind with the boats, and I rescued lots of boats that just couldn't get back because of the wind. And it's scary. And you get out there, and it's nice that we could go out there and help, because it is scary when you're out there on the water and, you don't have any way to get back.
Yeah.
So,
the water doesn't care who you are.
No, it does
it's
not.
Just not. So when you started and you're sitting there, okay, I'm going to write this. What was the catalyst? You said it because you couldn't find the kind of books you were wanting to read. I mean, a lot of people say, well, I'd really love to read this, and they don't write it. But what was that catalyst that made you sit down and say, you know what, I'm going to write this?
Well, I had been writing for a few years. I didn't grow up writing. I was math and science 100% in school. I even went to school initially for engineering. Writing was not my jam. But I had a friend who wrote, and so she was like, I told her one day, I need you to write this story, because and it wasn't these stories, it was a totally different one. And I said, I have a great idea. And she's like, no, you write it. It's your story. And I'm like, I'm not a writer. What are you talking about? And so I decided I'd try to write it, because how hard could it be to write a book, right?
Sure. Yeah,
I laugh at myself now
easy.
because I'm like, uh-huh. But,
right.
And so I started writing and realized just how hard it was. And I wrote probably, 4 or 5 complete novels that will never see the light of day. And then I stopped for a while. And then I joined this other writers group and started writing the young adult, dystopian. And I knew I wanted to publish. At that point, I knew I wanted to be serious about it, but that genre wasn't working for me. So I think the catalyst was that at this point I was serious about it. I actually wanted to publish, and I knew how to get there. I just needed a book to do that. And so when my friend said, write what you know, write what you like, write what you want to read, I thought, okay, I'm going to do that. And it's amazing when you kind of get into that groove of you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I kind of feel like it's so much easier, because writing that mystery was so much easier than writing the young adult dystopian novel that I was trying so hard to write.
Because it has to, and we all know this, if we're, pretty good readers, especially if you're reading young adult or these world building things, you better know what your world is, because readers are not forgiving at all.
No, they're not.
For that. And so it's like, oh, well, what would happen here? Oh, well, crap, I don't know. It's like it just happens. Nope, can't happen that way. There's got to be a reason back 3 chapters back, that this happens.
Yes.
It's like trying to untangle a ball of Christmas lights, but there's 8 Christmas lights, strings of Christmas lights in there, and you're like, wait, there's 8 of them?
Yes, exactly. That's very good, yes.
So, but, it's fun that you mentioned that you were a STEM girl in college and high school, because today is Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day. So,
that's so exciting.
I know. So what kind of books or what people would you suggest girls, women, boys, men, they read about? Who would you suggest they read about if they want to know about engineering, even if they have no desire to go into engineering or into STEM? Who should they know?
Oh my goodness. Let me think.
I know it's a very short question.
that is a hard one. So this isn't really like reading books, but I love following NASA and all of their articles and because I wanted to be an aerospace engineer. So that's what I wanted to be. And so I love following their stuff. I just think there's so much good writing. I don't know. I just want people to read. I don't care what they read. I just want them to read, So I don't know.
Yeah.
My daughter one of my daughters is very much following in the same footsteps, and she would be able to list off, a cajillion people to read and follow at this point. She's a lot smarter.
I think it's wonderful. There's so many more books now that people are writing and telling stories of these unknown, and to general historical accounts, like all these people who had a part in all these different things.
Definitely.
And I mean, it still amazes me nobody knows who Hedy Lamarr is. And I'm like,
right.
How do you not know her? You have a cell phone because of her, and
right.
Just all sorts of stuff. It's so I think that one of the beautiful things about being writers is we get to say, oh, and you know what? You should probably know about this person.
Yes.
Maybe that, we have these books out that makes us a little bit more of an expert, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
Right, exactly. I love it when people read, and I'm always just like, what are you reading? I ask people that all the time, and they look at me like, I'm not reading anything. And I'm like, but you are, because you're consuming something. I know you are. So are you reading Facebook posts? Are you reading, articles off of there? What are you reading? Because we are a consumption society. I mean, that's what we do. And I just think it's cool that we have so much at our fingertips that we can learn and know so easily.
Yeah. So I'm sure you watched the rover landed on NASA. Not landed on NASA, landed on Mars. And there was all of these posts, and one actor, and I apologize, the name escapes me at the moment, but he said, I don't know about you, but I get so excited every single time I see these engineers just lose it in the booth, because and I think about that. I think about the hours, like the years spent from conception to that moment of, I just can't even imagine the amount of time that it took. And hours and everything.
It's insane. It blows my mind when I think about, this one moment in time took so much preparation to make it happen. It's really cool.
So I have no doubt, because you wanted to go into aerospace engineering, you know a little bit about stars and maybe stare at them a little bit. My daughter would absolutely kill me if I didn't ask this. She's very much into STEM. Your favorite constellation? Your favorite star system?
Oh, it's very basic, but I love the Big Dipper. Like, it is just my favorite, probably because it's the one that I can always find.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it is always it's just there, and I'm like, oh, I love the Big Dipper.
Yeah. I mean, if you can find those navigation points, for sure, like you were talking about, rescuing people and them being able to find their way out and all that. I mean, I'm sure all that stuff was covered when you were doing park ranger. How to save yourself. It was
partially covered. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And we were in pretty enclosed, environments. Our reservoir was pretty small, so it wasn't like getting lost in the woods or anything like that. But they definitely teach you survival stuff. And about the moon type stuff, I just sent in all of my stuff for my books to go to the moon. So
really,
yes. So Susan K. Quinn started this thing because her husband is an engineer, and he's sending a time capsule up to the moon, and you could buy a payload on there. And so Riley is going to go to the moon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Exciting.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been talking about that in my newsletter a little bit, and there'll be updates as it goes, but it's like, oh, yay, maybe someone will read Riley's story 100 years from now because they went to the moon.
Yeah, you never know. You just never know.
Right.
And so if you want to list or keep up with Stella's books, Going to the Moon, you can go to her website, and the link is in the write-up of the show, and you can sign up for her newsletter, and she will tell you when her books have hit the moon. And so that is super, super duper important. So what, after you've got book 7, first, when is book 7 you're anticipating that's going to be live?
That one will come out probably in the fall.
Okay.
I've already started writing it, but it'll probably come in the fall.
So what's your next project after that? Because you said 7 books, yes?
Yes. So 7 books in that series, and then I'm planning on releasing. Okay, so I have a really big 2021 goal, and it's to release 11 total books.
Wow.
And yeah, and so I started a new series that's actually a paranormal cozy mystery series, and of that is out. The second one comes out in March, and I'm trying to release that series every 6 weeks. So there will be 7 of those that come out, and not everybody likes those that like the Riley books because they're a little different. Obviously, they're more cozy, and they have, the magical aspect of it. And then after the Riley series is done, there's another character named Logan that's in the Riley series, and she's going to get her own series. And hers is going to be, she's a sportscaster who may or may not have said some things on an open mic that got her demoted. And so she doesn't get to cover, like, the NFL games anymore. She has to cover the crazy, like, alternate events, kind of like Punkin' Chunkin', and I probably can't use that name because I think that's probably copyrighted, but, it'll probably be like gourd throwing or something in the book. Or like extreme wife carrying or bed sled races or something. So she's going to have her own murder mystery series that's going to be a lot like the Riley series, that is about her trying to get back in the good graces to get her job back by doing all of these crazy events.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if you ever watch it, but Saturday Night Live had Chance the Rapper was on, and he does these different, he's an announcer, and they had him doing hockey, and he's usually covers the Knicks. And so he's down on the rink, and they're like, "How are you today?" And he's like, "I'm cold." It's like, I don't know what's going on. And there's a guy that's got like a name that's 15 letters with no vowels, and and so it's stuff like, "Let's do that hockey." And then he did one that was it was like the gamers. So they sent him to do this game where they're all like on computers and they're fighting each other, and I forget what it was called, a legion of something, and he's just like, I had no idea this was a thing. So like, yeah. Yes. It's
that sounds
so
awesome.
good. But
I'm gonna have to look it up.
It's funny because he is a big hockey fan. He's actually from Chicago, so he's a huge Blackhawks fan. So but him doing it, and he's done multiple other, like for ESPN, he'll be the guy who doesn't know hockey, but he's like actually he does.
He actually does.
He does. Yeah.
That sounds
so
hilarious.
Well done. It's so funny. Oh, it's good. It's so good. Yeah. If you just do go on YouTube and you do SNL Chance the Rapper hockey, and it'll come up. So it's great.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah. So Downward Death is the first murder mystery, like the paranormal one you talked about, and that's the Magical Maine Mystery Series, Book 1, and it just came out last month. And then you have and then Bowling Blender, Book 2 of the series, is March 16th. So you've got 2 books coming out in the next couple weeks.
Yes. So I basically put all of my stuff into a project management software and told it how long it takes me to write a book and all that kind of stuff, and it told me my release dates. And instead of me saying, maybe I shouldn't release 2 books in March, I said, okay, that's what it tells me. That's what I have to do. That's
what I'm doing. Yeah, sometimes you gotta give up the reins and let somebody else or something else, tell you your deadlines. Yeah.
So that's what's happening.
All right. So you're basically planned out for what, till the end of 2022, probably?
I'm currently planned out until the end of 2021. I want to see how this series goes. I have 7 books planned in it. I want to get to that 7th book, and then I'll reevaluate if it needs to keep going. Eventually, I will come back to Riley because, I love Riley and she's awesome. But I don't know exactly what that story is going to look like And so I'm going to give that a little bit of space. And next year I'm going to do a lot of the Logan, maybe some more of the Magical Maine series, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like you're very busy. I mean, what is your typical schedule? I mean, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, writers just sit right down and just start writing. Today I'm going to write these pages. And it's like, yeah, no, that's not. Sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. I mean, what is your typical schedule?
Well, so I have 2 little boys, a 1.5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and then I have a 13 and a 15-year-old girl.
Okay.
And so I have the 4 kids, and then my husband, obviously. And then,
sure.
So I wake up before anyone else wakes up. So I'll wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning and write. And usually I can get about 1,000 to 2,000 words in an hour. And I like to do word sprints because it makes me more productive. Everyone gets up around 7, and so then the day begins, of course. And the girls go to school because we still are in school. So they go to school. And then the boys, I've finally gotten close to getting them on the same nap schedule. So,
good.
Which has been really exciting because that means that I can write while they're asleep.
Exactly.
So I'll write sometimes then, and then I will, go about the rest of my day with dinner. Trying to figure out what to cook for dinner is like my main headache every single day.
I know the feeling.
And yeah, right? It's like they need to eat again.
I know, right? Seriously, again?
And then sometimes I will stay up and write late if I feel like I'm on a roll. But I get the majority of my word count in. On weekends, I'll pay my daughters to babysit, or my husband will be home and he can watch the boys. And if I have a whole day, I can usually get about 10,000 words done.
Okay.
Which really will up my word count for the week. So
sure.
Yeah.
Do you make notes? I mean, do you have something with you that you're making notes, or anything that kind of helps you as you're plotting things out? Or, oh, that's right, I need to put that in there. Are you constantly sending yourself something or helping yourself with that?
Yes, and sometimes I'm like, where did I put that? Wait, hold on. So I really try to either send myself a text message, because I can use my watch and send myself a text message, or put it in the notes section of my phone. Because if I write it on a piece of paper, I'm never going to find it again, and that story idea will be gone forever.
I remember, I'm sure you still do it sometimes, but it's like that idea that you wake up kind of in the middle of the night, or you're falling asleep, you're like, oh my gosh, that'd be the best story. And you have stuff next to your bed and you write it, and you're like, okay, good, I've got it out. And then you wake up the next morning and it looks like you wrote it with your feet, like when you were really drunk. And it's like, I don't know what this is, and I can't remember any of it. Thank goodness for texting.
Yes, I will. So I have very vivid dreams. They are ridiculous. And I will wake up in the middle of the night and open my notes app on my phone and type it out, which, of course, in the middle of the night, I'm doing it with my eyes half closed. And I'll wake up the next morning and I'll be like, wait, why is my notes app open? And I'll read through it and I'm like, what in the world was I thinking? So it's kind of the same idea. Yeah.
Well, and it's just funny that the creative brain just never takes a break. It never stops.
It doesn't.
Yeah. And that's a good thing.
We'll be driving.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, you'll be driving,
and I'll be like, so, honey, look at this. This could be a story idea. And he's like, why? Why does that need to be a story idea? Why does everything have to be a story idea? Exactly, because it does.
Well, we went on a cruise several years ago, and I was so excited because I'm like, okay, great, because we splurged and we got like a balcony, and then of course you can go anywhere on the boat and sit outside, and or watch the water go by. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get like overpriced coffee drinks, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to write. It's going to be fabulous. And my husband was like, he was going to take a nap, and he's like, well, what are you doing? And I said, I'm going to go write. He's like, but we're on vacation. I thought, but I'm never on vacation.
No.
Never.
Yes,
happens.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
sometimes those
ships,
locations are nice. Yeah.
Yes. And there's just tons of things like you could take notes and look around and the smells and the sensory and the patterns in the carpet and all these different things that you could have these, extra details for a story. I mean, it's just sensory overload for sure. But wow.
Definitely.
There's never a time off ever.
No.
No. Yeah. I've actually texted to myself while driving. I have hands free, so I'll text myself, and the kids are like, "What did you say?" I'm like, "I'm not talking to you."
Right. Hold on.
Yeah. Just, all's good. It's all good.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, it sounds like you just stay plenty busy. Are you going to stick with writing for, do you have a goal of how many books you want to have in like 5 years, 10 years? Or I know this year you've got a really heavy goal. But, I mean, is that something that you're wanting to continue that level? Or is that just a goal you've set for yourself for this year to see if you can do it?
I kind of wanted to see if I can do it this year. If it goes well, I might continue that way. But I really want to write the rest of my life. And so if it completely burns me out, I want to say, no, I'm not doing that next year. I'm going to do, 4 books or whatever.
Right.
Because I don't want to burn out, but I want to make it a career, and I want it to leave a legacy for my kids. So that's my biggest goal, is just to write until I die, basically.
Yeah. And so with the mysteries, did you also watch mysteries growing up, or did you read like Agatha Christie or any of those kind of mysteries growing up, or what was the hook for the mystery genre?
I think it was just the Janet Ivanovich series. I was a Babysitter's Club fan when I was little. I mean, I have like all of the books. My parents bought me a subscription where I got 4 books a month, and I'd read them all in like a week.
Yeah.
And but I really think when I started reading the Stephanie Plum series, it just set something in my head that I really wanted to do that. And when I was little, I was like, I'm going to be an FBI agent. It's going to be awesome. So when people asked me what I was going to do, that's what I was going to do when I was little.
Okay. Well, I mean, somebody's got to be an FBI agent because we all need them.
Right. Yes, exactly. Now the FBI is probably like, why is she searching this?
Yeah, I know.
I promise. It's for a book.
Yeah. Yeah, all the commentary of please don't look at my search history. So, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Some days it gets a little weird. There's just like there's no coordination between whatever I'm looking up. But to me it makes sense. But, someone else would be like, I don't know what you're doing. This is very strange. Yeah, like you looked up what? Should we be worried? No.
Exactly.
It's all normal stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Stella. I so appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. It was so
Absolutely.
fun.
So if you're looking for Stella, she is at Stella, Stella, Bixby, Bixby, .wordpress.com. And then also she is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. She is also has got beautiful stuff on her Instagram, all sorts of fun things. And then check her out on Twitter and, of course, her books. She's on Amazon. And all those links are in the right above the show. And please come back when you've got your next series down in in the fall, you're thinking?
Yes, I hope so.
Perfect. Yes, I want to talk to you again, see how Logan's doing.
Okay.
And Riley. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much, everybody. Please be safe, stay well, and we will talk to you next time. Keep on reading. This is Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio.
This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.